welcome back to my channel, my crystal kings and queens. So today's video is a tad bit different from what I'm used to doing. Well, not really, but I figured I wanted to do a video today in regards to take two, I guess. So welcome back to my channel, my crystal kings and queens. So as I was saying in take one that I had to cut, I wanted to make a video in regards to how to reconnect with your crystals. So this has been a little challenging for me because I go through phases where I want to be surrounded by all of my crystals and then I don't. So naturally what will happen is I will carry more than, maybe 10 to 15 crystals with me. Don't judge me. And then I might feel a bit overwhelmed with them, maybe a little sick, or just simply tired of them and I want to put them back, or like all of them back. Maybe try to carry one or two and then that doesn't work. So instead I'm just like, I just won't carry any at all. So I wanted to do a video sharing with you all not necessarily any real steps to how to reconnect, but from my personal experiences ways that I reconnected with my crystals, or things that helped me reconnect with my crystals. So the first way I'd say is to, if you're anything like me, let's begin there, who likes to carry, and you like to carry 10 plus crystals with you, let's try minimizing that. I carry so many crystals with me that it's just too much. I'm just doing an unnecessarily amount of, well, that didn't even make sense. I'm just doing too much. So instead of carrying 10 plus, try to, minimize to maybe 7, 6, or 5 crystals. I'm a big fan of numbers, so 7 is a good number for me, 5 or 3, one of those 3 numbers. So for me, I think what was easiest was to just kind of minimize my crystals to about 5 crystals. I think I'm carrying about 5 right now. I'm not really sure. So that would be the start. That would be where it's best to start with if you're like me and again you just like to carry more crystals than you need. Also, we have to remember a lot of the crystals do the same thing, meaning what man believe the crystals are used for, those crystal properties, a lot of the crystals do the very same things. So clear quartz, well, you know what, let me not even name them because I have not really been in my crystal world for quite some time, so I don't want to be misleading by any means necessary. So gosh, this is this is a lot harder than I thought. I have not been in front of the camera in a very, very, very long time. So yeah. So again, step number 1, try minimizing. If you're like me, if you already carry maybe 3 to 5 crystals, then you have already succeeded and gone well above step number 1. So that's just the first thing. Okay, so here's the crystal bag that I have that I'm using currently. I tend to switch here and there, but as you all know, or for those of you who've been with me for some time now, I keep my crystals in this little pouch. It's pretty padded, so pretty good protection. I keep my crystals, I try not to stack them on top of one another, but it happens like that from here and there from time to time, depending on the size of my crystals. So I keep my crystals in this little pouch here, and it's extremely helpful. When you have a small pouch like this, it's a lot easier to, excuse me, it's a lot easier to carry less of them. One, because it already gets a little weighty depending on how big your crystals are. So you wouldn't, not necessarily for myself, I wouldn't be able to fit, 5 huge crystals in here. So maybe 3 or 4 medium-sized crystals or a few tumble stones are perfect for my bag. So that's what I use to help, I guess, limit my crystal intake and help stop me from overloading my bag when I really shouldn't. So if you can, for those of you who like to carry more than 3 or 4 or 5 crystals, try finding you a small pouch, satchel, bag, whatever, medicine bag, whatever floats your boat. Try finding you something small. That way you are able to limit yourself concerning how many crystals you actually carry in your bag or backpack or purse or whatever. So that's a quick, easy way to, I guess, assist or aid with step number 1. The second thing I would also advise is for me, let's reference myself. Of the maybe 3 to 7 crystals, try picking out one of those crystals and connecting with one. If you find that that's very difficult for you, then let's try, choosing one of the 3 to 7 and connecting with that one crystal for simply that week. If it takes you 2 weeks to continue, connecting, then by all means, continue on. But if not, then, move on to the other crystals that you also have in your bag. Just spend some time with it. Allow yourself a chance to get to know it, really, like, personally, and what I mean by that is use it to the best of your abilities in what small ways or big ways that you can. For instance, for me, I like to pray with my crystals sometime. A lot of people like to meditate with their crystals. A lot of people like to journal with their crystals, which is also a really great way of crystal connecting. So if you have a journal, maybe, write down some of the experiences you have with that crystal, what you felt that day connecting with it or carrying it with you. Maybe you have it, maybe it's small enough to fit in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? So journal how that crystal makes you feel, what it makes you think about, if it keeps you upbeat or, just really deeply rooted, whether it, allows you to be more sociable or more interactive, if it allows you to maximize your capabilities and strengths, or maybe bring yourself down a notch if you're just too hype, you know what I mean? So that's a really awesome way of connecting with your crystals if you care to think of it that way. Let's just say for step number 2, connecting with one crystal. So for me right now, that would look like this crystal here. So I'll just set that right there. Okay, so number 1, don't judge me. I have transitioned all of my crystals into little sandwich-like baggies or Ziploc bags because a lot of my velvet bags that I was carrying, they're really great, or that I was placing my crystals in. They're really great, super awesome. They definitely keep my crystals in pristine condition, and I always want to do that. That's just a given. However, trying to fit all of those velvet pouches into, let's say, something like this can become can make my bag a bit bulky. So trying to minimize the space or utilize it as best as I can by just using, small little sandwich bags. I'm able to fold them. They're extremely compact. They suction well. They're good. And it still keeps my crystal looking the exact way, you know, it started. So I just made a bit of a transition there. Just a little transition. Nothing huge. Just slightly. And it works. So, you know, but different strokes for different folks. To each his own. What works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you. So if you like your velvet bags or velvet pouches, by all means, stick to that. So I've transitioned to my bags, and talking about my second way, or the second way that I connect with my crystals. Try working with one of the few that you're actually carrying. So for the longest time, I've had this crystal for maybe well over a year and a half or so, what have you. It's my raw amethyst, and I purchased it around the same time I had purchased like some really awesome fluorite, like mini fluorite wands, or at least that's what they call them. I don't really consider them wands, but anyway, I purchased this around that time, and I had yet to pick it up since. I had yet to carry it, work with it, meaning, you know, just keep it with me, help me, you know, keep my mind, you know, focused or set, or whatever it is supposed to do. I had not utilized it for. So I finally decided maybe a few months ago, maybe a month or two ago, probably about 2 months now, I decided to pick it back up and see where I could go with it. And to me, it has been the best of my better half, because there's a lot that amethyst alone helps me out with. I already have a deep personal connection with amethyst, seeing that it was my very first crystal to kick me off into this crystal world, even though I didn't know that that's what it was at first. So this is super helpful for me in a bunch of ways that I just can't even really recall or name at this very moment. So needless to say, I picked this crystal back up, and for the longest time, like, I'm always trying to personalize my crystals. I'm always trying to name them. Like, it helps me feel more connected with that crystal if I know its name, or if I know what it wants me to call it, or you know, whatever. Like, it just helps me to know it, or I feel like I know it a bit more. So long story short, finally, after not picking it up for over a year and a half, and taking this crystal to work with me, placing it on the stand in the showers, or meditating with it, praying with it, consistently, you know, at least twice a week, cleaning it, cleansing it, whichever, you know, you choose to prefer. I haven't really journaled with it, which was also something that, you know, I referenced, but just simply spending time with it. It is small enough to fit in my pocket, but I wouldn't necessarily place this in my pocket because it's just too bulky. So I just kind of keep it in my hand, or I'll keep it in front of me on the desk if I'm in front of a computer or what have you. So doing all of that, long story short, or needless to say, it has helped me come up with a name for it. Also because I've been carrying it around with me for so long. Every time I have it in my hand, or every time I'm utilizing it in whatever way is just easiest or natural for me, some of the weirdest, most oddest, silliest things tend to happen. So for that reason alone, I was able to figure out its name, and more like his name. I figured out that it was a very masculine energy. I figured out that it was let me start referencing him as an it, because I know it's a he or a male energy. I started noticing that he had not only a masculine energy, but a very colorful energy, playful energy, fun, sporadic, spontaneous, extremely quirky, very weird, almost childish at times, a little misunderstood and odd. So I figured out its personality, and that just helped me to understand him a little more. It helped me to it made me feel like I knew him more. So he finally told me his name, just not, I guess like not really, spoken to me. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for those who kind of take things and run with them extremely far left. But he finally told me his name, and his name is Mad Hatter, and I absolutely love him. It is he's so fun. I get a kick out of the things I see when he's around and when I'm carrying him. So I thought that was a very, very intriguing and highly unique start for this crystal, but I would not have known, nor would I have ever guessed, had I not, utilized the time that I had to, spend with him in order to get to know him. So spend time with your crystals. That's a very key thing, very key part to getting to know your crystals for sure. So there we go. That's a start. And back in the bag he goes. So that would be the second step. First, minimizing if you haven't already, or if you aren't the type of person who are just a minimalist and you just by all means love to carry 13 million and one crystals just because you can and because you like to and because you're like me. Second, spend some time with it. Get to know it, try understanding it more. Carry it around with you, just simple as that. The third thing, not really a third thing. Let me see. Okay, so usually if I need to jot down anything concerning my crystals, any thoughts I have, ideas, maybe a few suggestions that I've gotten, this is generally what my setup would be. Just a pen, nothing, non-common sense. My worn down journal, and obviously my crystal bag. Usually I'll just take a crystal or so out. Let's say, since I was already talking about my lovely crystal Mad Hatter, let me scoot this up some so you can see a bit more, or so that it makes a little more sense. I would usually have my little beauty, and you probably all haven't even seen him in such a long time anyway, so it's probably better that you get to see him up close. This is not the ideal lighting that I'm used to when I'm showing you all my crystals, but because I'm in a different setup at the moment, this is what we got. So let's not judge. And I got a piece of lint on it. I'll probably bring here, I'll tell you what, so you can see it, because I really want you all to see the colors in it. Maybe if it actually allows the colors to come through. Yeah, not so bad. Still kind of the same. But this is my raw amethyst Mad Hatter. I love it. I love him so much. So such a really awesome crystal. So anyway, what the setup would be is my journal, my pen, and my crystal where you can see it. I'm not going to show you all what my handwriting looks like, because let me tell you, it's a whole hot mess at the moment when I'm not really trying to impress anyone. So that's what I'll do. I'll just kind of have him sitting in front of me or beside me. Maybe I'll be holding it in one of my hands, as I write. I'm not ambidextrous, nor am I left-handed, so I am a righty. And I will, you know, just kind of write what comes to mind and, you know, within my journal. I love this. It's so freaking cute. Worn down. Like, yes, I did not mess it up. This is how it came. It's just that really, I forgot what that look is called. I mean, aside from worn down. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. This is one of my favorite journals. But as for my journal, I love this a whole lot. So I do a lot of writing in this, which is also extremely helpful for when I'm trying to come up with certain types of crystal videos. So this video might be a whole lot longer than I anticipated, but whatever. So yep, that's my little setup, my little journal setup. So that's just an idea. Get you a journal, get you a pen, place you a crystal next to you or in your hand. Boom, there you go. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier in the video, another way that you can spend time with your crystal, getting to know it and or connecting with it would be by cleaning and or cleansing your crystal, or just a bit of both, which is a very awesome way to relax and, you know, get rid of, you know, a little bit of stress. So here is my Mad Hatter crystal, and I'm going to go ahead and run a bit of water under it. There's a few things I absolutely love about cleaning Mad Hatter, because when I run him underwater, he tends to darken in color. Just in retrospect of let's say the movie Alice in Wonderland. So for those of you who don't know, that's one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. And when Mad Hatter, I guess, goes back into memory lane, or when he has flashbacks, or when he's thinking about something deep, his entire persona changes colors, or it's reflected on him physically, like it's just physically visible. You see that his entire aura just kind of shifts. His body language changes, the tone of his voice changes, his eye color changes. He just becomes a whole nother character, someone else. So when I run my Mad Hatter crystal under the water, it deepens in color. The purple gets darker. It almost seems as though it becomes another crystal in a sense, and I just absolutely love it because I only really get to see that when I'm cleaning him under the water. So needless to say, let's go ahead and get to cleaning him. Take my rings off because I don't want them knocking into the crystal. So before I turn the water on, because it does get kind of loud and then it usually gets a little hard to hear me, I just choose, I prefer, when I cleanse my crystals, I prefer using Dove soap. Usually my bar of soap, or a bar of Dove soap with a toothbrush or so. Right now, for this matter, I'm not going to do that. I'm just use some quick hand soap. It actually smells pretty good and it feels really soft on my crystal. A subtle soap for that. Well, yeah, it's just a subtle soap. So you're more than welcome to, what is this in my mouth? You're more than welcome to choose whatever type of soap you wish, and or you don't have to use soap at all. Some people use rice water. Some people just put their crystals into a bowl of dry rice. Some people use Himalayan salt or salt water, rainwater, ocean water, Florida water. It's whatever you really have available to you of your choosing. There is no right or wrong way to do it. It's whatever feels natural and most right to you. So that's what you go for. So I'm gonna go ahead and begin cleansing or cleaning Mad Hatter, and then it'll be on to the cleansing process, which for
me, I'll be using an incense stick, so the smoke from an incense, and I believe it's I forget the scent. I wanted to say scent. I forget the scent of it, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, it smells like a piece of cake. Oh my God, I love it. So let me go ahead and start cleaning. Turn that off, and I am going to just lather the Mad Hatter in soap. And usually I just kind of do this until I feel like it's just not necessary anymore. This is just kind of my time to, you know, talk to my crystal, you know, pray with it. I mean, you know, speak a bunch of positive words, you know, or just be silent and enjoy the sensation and cleaning of the crystal. But, you know, it's whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel better. I also just really love the way the crystal feels in my hand when I don't have on my rings, and I'm just able to let each part of the crystal just kind of flow freely through my fingertips. It's a really, really soothing sensation. Oop. And this is a really great, simple, quick, and easy way to just spend quality time with your crystal. Nothing fancy. All it requires is your time and patience. Just super, super nice. I love that it almost has that Lemurian striation effect to it. But I do understand that that's just a cut of the crystal, so. But this crystal is more so a smoky amethyst than anything. It's not just an amethyst, because there are a ton of smoky areas within them. It's like he's just a ball of personality. Not a ball, really. The shape is totally not that. So more like a chunk of personality. I don't really know. Okay, I think that's good enough. So I'm going to go ahead and run him under some water now, and then maybe you'll get to see the effect of how deep and dark his colors actually come through. Oh my God, y'all see the rainbow bubble? Fire. Okay, let's go ahead. And I kind of just let the water run in all kinds of directions of the crystal. Nothing fancy. you see how deep, how dark the crystal gets? It may have already looked dark, but yeah, I don't know. It's like a mood changing. It's like a mood changing crystal. Just want the water to speak to it the best way it knows how, the only way it knows how. I also kind of just let the water flow in all kinds of directions of the crystal so that each part has a chance to allow, its vibrations to hit it. Okay, so there we have it. We have a beautifully cleaned Mad Hatter crystal. My amethyst. I like my smoky amethyst. I love the raw look, that extremely wet appeal. Y'all know that yummy look is my absolute favorite. But here he is. Okay. All right, now for the last step, which would be cleansing. I'm gonna move this to this side so you can get a better sense. So I just kind of put them over the smoke and just let the smoke have its way. Not to get carried away from the crystal. I don't do this often, but I know it is a very common way of cleansing. I just like to do it, if I do it at all, because I like to see how the smoke transitions all throughout or shifts all over the crystal. I just think it's super duper dope. It looks really dope. It's a really neat way of cleansing a crystal. So I just let it have its way in all directions. And I'll let it do what it wants to do. I love it. Look at that. That is so neat. Extremely neat. It just wraps around it like a ribbon. And it just keeps on until it can't anymore. And it just looks so cool over my amethyst anyway. But yeah, spend time with your crystals. And if you can't with all of them, then just choose one and spend time with that one.
for as long as you can, up until it's time to choose something different. But get to know it. It has definitely been fun getting to know this little guy here. So fun. Absolute favorite. Okay, so there you have it. Wonderful amethyst. Oh my god, this incense smells like cake. I want some so bad. There you go. There you go. And we are good. Okay. There we go. So gorgeous. That spiral though. Okay. Okay. My apologies for looking over here. I'm used to looking to my left, your right, possibly right now, because my cameras usually flip the opposite way. This time it's not. It's going from left to right instead of right to left, where my camera would be on my left. Or my, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Anyways, Oh, okay, so this question. Why is it that I no longer need or want to use or connect with my crystals? Okay, so again, maybe you are like me and maybe you just got too much going on, you know what I'm saying? And you kind of feel like a lot of things are going wrong. It's just, or you're feeling cluttered. Your mind is feeling cluttered. Things are feeling cluttered around you. A lot of things just become a bit more situational. So for this particular moment, you just feel like there is no need for anything, or you don't want to carry any crystals, and that's okay. I get like that here and there, but with how prevalent and how important crystals are to me, my spirit, the work that I do, nothing really out there. I'm not really into witchcraft and all of that, type things. And I know a lot of, Wiccans and people who do that type of work or magic work. People use crystals for those reasons, and that is perfectly fine. To each his own. I take nothing away from anyone's practice. To be honest, I'm very intrigued, highly curious to say, none the least. I'm extremely open, so I dabble into all worlds, specifically notating. I'm the type of person that just love knowledge. So, I like to learn whatever ways or new ways I can learn things, get a bit of wisdom into other people's worlds, in order to be able to connect with them more. I'm all for it. So that is neither here nor there. But back to what I was trying to get at is I too just kind of get to those points where I don't feel like utilizing my crystals, or I just kind of want them pushed away from me. And again, that is natural. It's okay. I'd say in those moments, maybe just instead of putting them all aside, maybe just try sticking with one crystal or maybe one type of crystal. So instead of, citrine, carnelian, clear quartz, amethyst, lapis lazuli, and all those crystals mixed together, maybe just grab one and work with that one specific crystal, like clear quartz. So you grab one clear quartz, or say instead of that graffiti mix, maybe 3 to 5 clear quartz, just all clear quartz in your bag, and see how that does you. That's just kind of a new thought. I've never really tried that, but I feel like it would probably work. So yeah, that was just an off the dome type of thought. You can try it. You don't have to. Different strokes for different folks. But why wouldn't a person want to connect with their crystals anymore? Or why are you feeling like that? Maybe because you're just feeling cluttered, like it's just too much going around. I know for a lot of us right now, we have been enduring a ton of unidealistic situations. The world has nearly begun wreaking havoc, chaos everywhere, between the COVID-19 situation to riots to, a lot of the states, local businesses are being destroyed, a lot of killings. My heart goes out to all of everyone, and, may the highest, whomever you worship, or, whatever spirit or deity you go to. For me, personally, it's God. May he just shine a light upon us all and just kind of help us all. But I don't want to make this video sad or none of that, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I just hope that you all are staying safe out there and at least trying to remain positive about, something. We have to uplift each other and encourage each other. So let's just, if we can, find ways to, sustain that bit of light and happiness, and, just kind of shed that positivity, joy, happiness, and just overall that amount of love that we can, to others around us, near us, far, whatever, what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a bit much. As an empath, that takes a lot from you. If you're like extremely sensitive, you feel all of that. So okay, next thing, why, I guess it would be the same as why a person wouldn't feel so connected to a crystal. Why, the question I'm trying to get at, the question I'm trying to get at is why a person wouldn't feel as attached to their crystal. I'm like, I gotta look up to bring my thoughts down. I can't really answer that, aside from maybe just feeling like your world is a bit too situational. There's just too much going on. You just probably need a moment to yourself. It's just time for you to have a minute to yourself, and that's okay. If you have to just completely separate yourself and be of yourself within your own space, then by all means, that is probably best at that moment. I do say, at these times or at any time, try not to isolate yourself. If you can keep one crystal with you, for us crystal extremists, I say go for that. Try keeping at least one crystal with you. It's just the best that we can do. I think, yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on that. I had an idea like how I really wanted to do this, so I may be in and out with, I don't know, I may be extremely in and out with this video. I'm not quite sure. I don't know how this is gonna go. The very last thing, why, let's say for me, because this has happened to me, why do I get sick when I have too many crystals around me? Oh my God. It's like I love the word graffiti. It's like a graffiti pot, a graffiti mix. When you have too many crystals that carry so many different energy levels in one area, in one setting, I don't know if you're like me, but I'll get one of a few different feelings. That I might feel like extremely high on life, like a natural high. I may feel extremely nauseous, or I may get, a really huge migraine, or I might even feel a bit just nonchalant, very indifferent, and just kind of out of it. And I feel like when you don't know exactly what you want to work with or work on, those things can happen. It's very important that you try not to overwhelm yourself with so many crystals. I just love to carry all my crystals with me no matter what. And I have obviously a few crystals that I just keep on me regardless. And for me, that tends to keep me a bit more grounded in a sense, not going overboard, but definitely, making sure that I'm not doing too much because I can. And it'll also make my backpack extremely heavy, carrying like all of those crystals, 10 plus crystals that I just really don't need when, like I said earlier, they all kind of do the same thing. For the most part, like a lot of the crystals carry the same universal effects. Clear quartz being the top one, the top tier, number one, numero uno. So carrying a bunch of different crystals can just be a bit overwhelming to your already energetic aura, your already energetic persona. Like we carry energy throughout our entire body. And then, for crystals, they crystalline within. We crystalline within. Crystals are crystalline. Crystals crystalline within. Hey, it goes some kind of way. I had it before I began this, and it's gone now, but it's all good. Our genetic makeup, as best as I can say, it's just the same as a crystal. So in other times a lot of the times, oh my God, can I get this together for the life of me? We match the energy levels of the crystals we carry because we carry the same genetic makeup. It's common sense that we naturally match the crystal. So you might not think about it. It may not even be anything that, crosses your mind, but ultimately it's like, for me, it would be like carrying 1,000 me's in my pocket. I'm not the most energetic person a lot of the times, but for the most part, I can be a whole lot. So I say you just need to be careful with how many crystals you carry with you. It's just not necessary to, have so many with you, because for me, carrying a plethora of crystals does the complete opposite effect of what I needed to do. So be mindful of that. It is also the same as surrounding yourself with a ton of crystals. Now, I have a ton of crystals, but I can't have them all sitting out here, and here, within my room. I have to have them placed away in my crystal units. It's easiest for me. It's better for my, my vibration. And it keeps me from feeling yucky, in a sense. Such a kitty word, but that's the best way I can put it. So I hope you kind of enjoyed this video. This has been extremely unique for me trying to do such a video and coming out of nowhere so randomly, sporadically, and not really having much of a direction with this video, but it's all good. I'm trying to step back in there, and the transition is a bit rough, a little challenging, but it's all good. I appreciate y'all bearing with me, especially so much of you for rocking with me. There has been no fam like my royal fam, and I appreciate you all very, very much. So with all of that, I am going to get out of here. Crystal kisses and royal blessings. I hope you all stay safe out there. Keep positive, stay loving, shed some light where you can, or, shed some light where there's dark. So I hope that you all continue to be blessed and beautiful. And I'm outie. Love you all. Bye.